Hi, everybody. It's Mr. Gray here. Thank you again for such a great week. I do have some updates first, and then we'll get into what's happening in class next week. The first is, I think I've sent out the link, but on the updates page, there's a link to the multiplication and division facts practice, and we're rolling through multiplication. So the more you can practice with your kids at home, the better. Even just 5 or 10 minutes a day, and you can talk about the patterns you see or the ways that you think about multiplication. That's incredibly helpful. Another announcement is that we do PE as a class on Monday morning, first thing, and we're often in the grass, and it is really wet as it starts to get colder. So you might want to send more robust shoes, things that they can run in, and might get like a little bit muddy during the day. Just on Monday, the other days that we do PE, Tuesday and Thursday, they're more often on the blacktop, or it's later in the day, so it's not so wet. We do have a bunch of just things coming up. So next week on Thursday, November 11th, is Veterans Day, so there's no school. The week after that, November 15th through 19th, is the book fair. And during that week, there is a Chick-fil-A restaurant night that the PTA is using as a fundraiser. On November 19th, report cards are available online after 2 p.m. And then the week after that, the 22nd through the 26th, is Thanksgiving week. We have a normal day that Monday, a minimum day Tuesday, and the students are off of school Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The final announcement for this week is that, we kind of had like a little bit of a tough week in class. I think there's a lot going on between Halloween on Sunday and the Thanksgiving break coming up. But I know I've been talking with parents all week about different behaviors that are going on. But sometimes like the behavior of one student can affect other students, even if they're not like the ones necessarily getting in trouble. So it might be good to check in with your students. The other thing about that I've noticed is I've seen a lot of Halloween candy at recess and lunch, which is, I'm sure, delicious. But I can imagine that if that's my only source of energy, for recess, it might be hard to get through the day. So that might be one thing to keep in mind, that it's just hard to have like candy like right at recess if that's all you've eaten for the day, and then really get through all the other academic things. So something to think about for the next week. But moving on to academics, in Readers Workshop next week, at this point, we're working on kind of ways of pulling information out of information books and nonfiction chapter books. So it's not just a matter of reading it, but also what am I getting out of it? And so we're working on keeping track of our thoughts on Post-its in a few different ways. We're writing about fascinating things that we find out, asking questions, growing ideas, and making connections between texts or between sources of information. Next week, we're going to try to get into lifting the level of our conversation about reading. And starting in 2 weeks, we're going to transition to narrative nonfiction as we go into the Christmas break. For Writers Workshop, we're going to continue writing our information books. The students are drafting and revising different sections, and we'll start researching a little bit of facts to ensure text accuracy. We'll create introductions by looking at mentor texts, and then we'll read back our own writing and try to clear up any confusion by putting ourselves in the shoes of a reader reading our own writing. For math, we're going to continue looking at multiplication facts. The kids will continue to get tested by me on their facts, and I will put what I notice in their progress report about how they're getting through all their facts. Next week, we're going to look at patterns for 3s and 6s, and then we're almost all the way through the official study of multiplication facts. We still have 7s and 9s, and then we're going to continue looking at those all together, but soon we'll transition into division and talk about how multiplication and division are the same. So again, that 5 or 10 minutes, if that's a routine you can do every single day after school, that'll be really helpful for multiplication facts. In social studies, we're just getting into the early history of California in terms of settlement. So we're looking at European explorers and early settlements throughout California. And in science, we're going to continue looking at forces and how they affect our everyday life. And we'll talk about the forces involved in soccer and tug of war. So that's everything that's going on in our class. Again, thank you for all your support every week. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.